I think that there's a lot of unfair treatment to the lady.
Why do you say that?
I'm reliably informed that she wrote a leave of absence and her leadership refused to recommend it to Speaker.
Okay, Chairman Sabonsu told me that he applied for an additional 20 days that the Speaker rejected.
Listen, she wrote a leave of absence and then she traveled, citing her children and challenges. And the leadership, because they needed her at all costs, refused to recommend. So she noticed along the line that she's constantly being absent. So now she wrote a letter with another leave of absence, directed to Mr. Speaker, to remind them, Mr. Speaker, I'm supposed to seek permission from you, but the rules of this House is such that, like himself stated today, I have to pass it through my leadership. I have noticed that my leadership have consistently refused to recommend my leave of absence. So I'm writing directly to you.
So she bypassed her leadership?
Yeah, because she has done one with her leadership, and the leadership have refused to recommend. Now she writes this and stating this in the letter to Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, having gotten this, I cannot judge the thinking of Mr. Speaker. Minuted it back to her leadership. The same leaders that have refused to recommend her leave of absence. Speaker referred this matter to her leadership. And what the majority leader simply said was that, I'm not aware. And based on that, Speaker refuses to grant her leave of absence. With the greatest of respect to the office of Mr. Speaker, I think this is very unfair.
Unfairness on the part of the Speaker or on the part of her leadership?
Both. The reason I'm saying unfair to both is that, you see, if I make a claim and you don't use your good office to investigate that, but you refer my application back to the same group of people that have refused to grant my leave of absence. If I were Mr. Speaker, to be fair, I would have then minuted that majority leader, so majority whip, can you recommend, based on this complaint, to me for the leave of absence to be granted? Because remember, she has filled another leave of absence.
Complaining about the conduct?
About what her leadership did. So to treat her fairly, you, Mr. Speaker, having gotten this background, you will have recommended to the leadership to recommend for her leave of absence in order not to keep them on the blind side of what's happening. Now,
but this document, have you seen it yourself?
Yes.
Because Che, that's not Che's point.
I've seen it myself.
Che disagrees that that's what happened. He said the Speaker by himself rejected that application for extension of absence.
Tell him that if he challenged that, that minute could be brought out. Speaker wrote to him, and he claimed that he wasn't aware.
So it was
he wasn't aware that she had made an earlier application. And you know, these applications are done through the whips. So you come to our side, I grant all the leave of absence. Okay. And the reason why we allow the whips all over parliaments to do, because it's the whips that control numbers. So we have something we call pairing. So if, for example, Evans wants to travel for a funeral in Kumasi, I will have to find out for opposite. Is any other person traveling? If I need numbers, I will check. Is any other person traveling on the other side? If I get somebody traveling, then I say, okay, I'm sure that, hypothetically, say, another person is also traveling. So if Evans is not there, at least it cancels out. So based on that, I grant. If it is, say, something that is very complicated, you may even require some assistance. I should be able to initiate. For example, I mean, the defense minister will tell you, there are instances where I call and I say, look, a member is sick and we need to get the person flown from Tamale to Accra or something. Or there's this funeral that is very urgent, but because of the distance and time, can you assist us with a chopper to just lift them and go? So you grant, so that's why the whips are those who grant the leave of absence. So with the greatest, if I'm to travel, I will do that to my deputy for him to grant. If the leader is traveling, I have to grant the leave of absence. So it's the whips that handle this. So my belief is that if it's not a grant scheme, it is for the leader to get his whip to now recommend at least the one that she has sent to Speaker so that they'll be recorded. But deliberately, they kept marking her absent. Now, the reason she gave, is it tenable? I mean, everybody in the way he looks at it. I sit in here, I put my family above everything. If I have a sick child, in seeking health care for my child, I'll put that as a priority to any other thing. If my mother is sick, I'll put that as a priority to any other thing. So you may disagree because maybe in your case, you have your grandmother staying with you who can take care of the kids. Therefore, if your children are sick, there's somebody to take care of them. In my case, it's me and my wife, and I will have to prioritize that because their health care will be very, very important. She's talking about her children. And if she's not careful, social welfare in America will seize these children.
Did she say that in the application?
Yes. We cannot pretend to say that that's not a serious thing. We can't.
But
is she overstretching this? I know because of the numbers and the difficulty that we find ourselves. This has never been an issue. Evans, I'm one who had constantly raised on our floor of Parliament about absenteeism. You remember before the 2020 election when an attempt was about to increase constituency? I just said, it's not important. Don't add constituency because, look, the 275 that you have, I can't even put my hand on good 100 that are doing the work. I've said all this thing before. So I'm not just defending